Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. Special trade deadline for the Juicebox Heroes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, PK. As always, we have the Dubon Fan Club president, Mr. Chris Moreno, and Sweet B Bones Bryles. A lot of stuff going down today. Let's get right into it, guys. What do y'all think so far?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think I'm going to have arthritis in my right wrist as much as I've been checking my phone, checking X all day today, hoping, praying for something to happen. It was kind of slow to begin with, and then pretty much the last couple hours has been nothing but crazy trades. Unfortunately, nothing on the Astros front, but with all this Correa stuff that went down today, that pretty much kept today pretty interesting. What do you guys think?
I mean, we still got 24 hours, less than 24 hours, my bad, to go on the trade deadline. So we'll see kind of like what's going on. But the whole Correa thing, I don't know. It may or may not happen. We'll kind of, I guess, just wait and watch, right? And that's the only thing we can do. But it definitely be intriguing to see what happens if he does get traded back to Houston. So, but other than that, yeah, I mean, there was a flurry of trades that went down today. But nothing that, I would say was just blockbuster, blow your mind away. So anyway, but there was definitely some movement. And this is probably my favorite time of year just because I'm always, just like Chris said, it's like you're always looking at your phone like, okay, what happened? What happened? It's like, oh my God, what happened? Did it actually happen? No, it didn't happen. It was just a bunch of tweets and stuff. So, but anyway, PK, what about you, buddy?
Well, I found myself watching the Red Sox and the Twins game today on MLB Network just to kind of see, if they were going to say anything. Got to see Willie Castro get pulled, before the game ended. Of course, we talked about it before, we went on where the Twins have said, made it, at least put a statement out, that, they are downplaying that he's not being traded, although he is definitely tied to Houston and Seattle at the moment.
He's definitely getting traded.
Right. So he's on the move. But yeah, no, it's just a lot of just watching the phone, just trying to filter through the bullshit on X on what's true and what's ridiculous. So I think let's get right into this, man. So we got the Correa. That was the kind of the big thing, I guess, at least for me, giving it a lot of thought. Right. We'll talk about Dylan Cease and what the Padres are putting out for what they're expecting. What they're expecting to get back. But let's start with Correa. So. We all know what happened, a few years back, right? Houston offers him, I think, 125, right? We all knew he wasn't going to stay. It's like $1 billion worth of contracts between two teams, doesn't sign because of his physicals. They're concerned. So he goes back to Minnesota, I think on a 3-year deal, but 2-year option, I believe is what it was. Something along those lines. Chris is probably going to correct me here in a minute when I stop talking. So the point of it is I don't really know how I feel yet about a potential Correa return, because we just talked about this on Sunday night about, yes, Correa means a lot to the organization, from 17. But it's like, for me, on Sunday, I said, I'm over it. I'm moved on. So Chris, what are your thoughts? Bryles, I'm gonna get yours here in a minute on Correa. John, great question, right? Like that's my thing is, before Chris goes, I'm probably going to steal a center, but that's okay. So
go ahead.
My question to Chris before we came on was, how much of the contract is Minnesota going to eat? And then it becomes how much of the prospects that we have to give up. And so I saw something on X today, and they talked about Verlander last year, right? When we got him at the deadline. Oh, the last time we got Verlander from the Mets, where the Mets ate a lot of the contract, but we had to send some high level prospects, which in turn they just sent Drew Gilbert. The Mets did to, I forget who did they trade with today?
The Giants. The Giants.
Yeah. So that's my thing is, how much is Minnesota going to eat of his contract that's left, and then what are we going to have to give up? That's the big thing for me. I agree with John. So Chris, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, here's one thing, man. I love Astros fans of Twitters, because from the second the news pretty much dropped that the Astros were somewhat talking about Correa, we had the montage videos, we had all the short little
montage videos.
There was one that I saw some opera singing some opera guy singing at the last. It was "Bring Him Home," and it showed a picture of Correa. It was probably some of the best Twitter I've seen all day. But to answer your question about what is it going to cost and the contract, so those kind of go hand in hand in this situation. So you've got the Twins that are what $425 million in debt. So when you think of it that way, your first instinct is, well, the Astros have all the cards, they have all the leverage, right? But in any type of situation where you're trying to trade a contract to another team, um, if you're the other team, like, so if you're the Astros in this situation, your goal is for Minnesota to eat as much money as possible, right? So, and I want to say the last 2 or 3 years of that Correa contract, they're all like team vesting options. So it's not like it's hardcore. We're tied to Correa for those 6 years or whatever. So essentially, if I'm the Astros, I'm going to say, hey, I want you guys to eat 30 to 40%. And the higher percentage that Minnesota eats, the more Minnesota's going to want back as far as prospects, because their argument's going to be, well, if we're going to eat most of this contract, then we want something as compensation for eating the money portion of it. So, I mean, and really what it's going to depend on is what they're asking for prospect wise. I mean, if it's me, I feel like you can get this trade done. And again, like, my initial reaction to this trade was like, man, that's fantastic. I saw another like Twitter thing where it shows some dude ripping off somebody else's shirt, and it was essentially
Brendan Rodgers jersey. It was
Brendan
Rodgers jersey.
Rodgers jersey, so he could take number 1 back.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So I'm like, hell yeah, I don't have to buy another Correa jersey unless he goes to pick number 4. But like, my main thing is that I'm all for, you need that bulldog in the dugout. We saw how he was basically the only guy during the whole trash can situation that wasn't basically turned into a neutered dog. He was talking shit to Cody Bellinger. I like it. During the 2020 season, he pulled Fromber aside, I told him to get his shit together. You need a guy that's going to is not afraid to take that leader role, get in your face in a respectful way, and basically pump you up. And not to mention what Correa contributes in the playoffs is fantastic. I mean, the last time they made the playoffs was 2023. They played 2 series, one against Toronto, he hit 429, and then in the 5-game series against us, he hit 400. I'll take that all day, every day. The biggest question I have is going into next season. Going into next season, if this trade goes down, where is he going to play? Because Isak Paredes should be healthy. We just got an update on him. He's going to miss over 2 months. So essentially, he's done for the rest of the regular season. So going into next season, where is he going to play? Because I'm assuming we'll have a healthy Jeremy Pena. He should be back, I'm thinking Friday. But, looking ahead to going into next season, God, I hope we get somebody like Steven Kwan that puts Altuve back at second. So now you have Altuve at second in this hypothetical. You have Jeremy Pena at short. Then you have Paredes at third. So where is Correa going to fit in all this? Unless you're going to move Yordan to the outfield and you're going to DH Correa, which basically you eliminate how great of a fielder he is. So really, like, as a very, very, like, if Correa was a rental, I'm all for it because he solves your problem that you have right now. But if you look towards next season, where does this fit? Or is this one of those situations where it's like, listen, let's get to the playoffs, let's get playoff Correa, and we'll deal with all the rest of that shit come next season? That's kind of, I mean, it's kind of like, where's that thinking on that? So that kind of wraps up my initial feelings of this whole Correa thing. I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed if they pulled the trade for him, but I also would, there's so many conflicting news that I keep reading, like ESPN, all the stuff on Twitter. I mean, so it's kind of like what I felt like earlier today. It was like, oh shit, this is going to happen. Let me get ready to, call Mandy and tell Benjamin Correa's back. And then it's like all that kind of momentum kind of faded out. So I don't know, Browse, what was your initial reaction? What, how do you feel about a potential Correa reunion with the Astros?
I like it and I don't like it. And for
there you go. I like it.
Almost like the same reason. I do think, and I want to finish your thought on that. I like him at third, and I know that's going super A-Rod on his like career, right? Going short to third, so you flip him over to third, and then what does that do with Paredes? That flips him to second. So then what does that do with Altuve? That puts him in the outfield and left field. So at that point, you don't have a choice. You have to play Altuve in left field, not just the rest of this season, but Paredes would be out, so not the rest of the season, excuse me. But you would have to play him definitely next year, in left field, and the year after that too, because you're more than likely going to have Correa, who's going to opt in to not only next year but the year after that, because the money on that contract is so good. So it's like, you're right. It's like for this season, him playing third is perfect. Having Altuve at second, and then having Pena coming back next week playing short, that sounds amazing. But at the same time, with Paredes coming back, and that's something you want with that big bat next year, what do you do? So anyway, Altuve does go back to left field. And then unless there's something wrong with Alvarez that we don't know of, that's going to be worse than him just, being out for a little bit for the rest of this year, maybe something next year too. But that's where it is. And, I don't have a problem with him playing third base, honestly, long term, because he definitely takes that defense that we lost with Bregman, and puts that back in there. But at the same time, dude, Correa is never healthy, man. So if you think about it for the next 2 to 3 years, how much production are you actually getting out of that? So that's the part where it's like, do I love it? Yes. And for also the parts you were talking about, Chris, you're getting that bulldog back in the dugout, which we really need. I mean, Altuve, don't get me wrong, is a team leader. He's the nice guy, but you need that bulldog in there to go in, grab somebody by the jersey, and just be like, listen, you need to get out there and go make it happen. And he's the dude to actually do that. So do I want him? Yes. Do I want him beyond what it would jeopardize for the season? I don't know. And then, PK, you brought up the other thing, and so did John online. It's like, what is this going to cost you? And to simplify, kind of like what Chris was saying, it's like, okay, so we're going to give you Carlos Correa, and then after that, what are we paying for as far as prospects coming back? And that's basically what you're doing. You're giving him back to pay for prospects. So it's like, okay, we're going to eat this amount of money, but this is what we expect. We're not going to eat any money. And then you can just give us, some guys that may or may not produce 5 to 6 years from now. So who knows? This is why none of us are GMs or get paid to do this. We can only just sit here and talk about it like armchair quarterbacks. But hey, listen, I am good if we get him. I'm also good if we don't get him. And also to PK's point, I've said it from the very beginning, the guy I want is Stephen Kwan out of the Guardians.
So he's got 103.5 million left through 28. Correa does. Right. So you have him you've got him for three more seasons plus this half. Right? 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So you've got him for a minute, and then he has the four club options from 29 to 32. 29 to 32. So look, the Stephen Kwan thing.
Stephen Kwan is going to cost you, though. That's going to cost you.
Listen, man,
you ain't getting Stephen Kwan without
enough
without Melton or Matthews.
Right. You don't have the prospects to do it other than like Melton and Matthews to headline it. It would be great. It would be great to have that left fielder, put Altuve back at second, see what they're going to do at third. But yeah, I think it's going to be way too expensive. And really, the prospects that we have, I mean, they're good for us because our system's not very good. Yeah, I think it's just going to cost you way too much for Kwan. But I mean, you never know, man. Like, you really never know. It's been quiet on the Kwan front, and it could turn on a dime.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing with Kwan is that he won't be a free agent until 2028. So at least if you're making that trade, and let's say it does cost you Jacob Melton as the headliner, you're going to have Kwan for this year, 26 and 27. Which to me, I mean, I like Jacob Melton. I mean, I've been on the Jacob Melton train since for a minute now, but at least you're not dealing him for a rental. You know what I mean? So like, that's a little bit more easy for me to stomach giving up let's say it's a package like, I don't know, let's say Jacob Melton, blue ball, Luis Baez, and Ethan
What if they
Pekka.
want
Let's say
Uola?
or Uyola. Okay, so let's say you swap out Blue Ball with Uyola. Am I okay with that package? Yeah, I mean I am, but it's like I said. So the question is, are you going to drop all of your what few eggs you're willing to bargain with on one person, or are you planning on spreading that? So we move on to the next guy that the Astros have been linked to. Who's that guy? He looks like he's got a toupee on. Man, like I don't remember his name, but he's the one. I mean, really, he's the one. He's one of these
No
baseball
idea.
punching guys. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's got some like red
Hyman.
hair. Like I don't know. Not Paul Heyman. No, not him. Or John Heyman. Not him. There's another guy. But I mean, Dylan Cease. So pretty sure I read an article a couple of days ago saying that the Padres are looking for a major league ready pitcher or catcher. And then the second that news hit, I remember on X somebody says, "Bye, Yiner. Thank you for all the memories."
It was. I think it was Schwab. I think it was Schwab.
Yeah, it might have been. So,
but they wanted a left fielder
and
a major league left fielder and a catcher. That's what they wanted.
Okay, so, I mean, so I can see maybe something. I was thinking Yiner and McCormick. There you go. Bye. See ya. I mean, but like again, he's another one of those guys. I mean, when he's on, he's on. Has he struggled? Yes. I mean, but like the biggest upside with Dylan Cease, and I know he's that dreaded rental PK, so I know that that's gonna not roll with you very well.
Instant X.
But he is definitely that type of candidate that you saw in Kikuchi last year, where and this guy's ceiling is way higher than Kikuchi.
That part I agree with.
So if you can get Cease in for a decent deal, let's say you give him Chas McCormick and I don't know, enter a young up and coming arm or something, or a young up and coming catcher. This is a guy that could, anchor your rotation in the playoffs. Like, so your 1, 2, 3 would be Fromber, Hunter Brown, and then Dylan Cease. I can roll with that. I mean, I could definitely roll with that. Now,
are you rolling with it because of the name, or are you rolling with it? And this is where I struggle. This is where I struggle because the name Dylan Cease, right? It brings a little bit of like what you just said, right? Fromber, Hunter Brown, Dylan Cease, like that brings some, puff your chest out. Like no one's going to be scoring runs, right? And so this is my thing to you or us in the group chat, which is you're if you go for Cease, it is a rental. You're hoping that you can strike it again like you did with Kikuchi. That's what you're hoping for, right? I honestly don't think, Chris, that like when Kikuchi signed last season, it was traded, there was a part of you that was on the same boat that me and Browse were on.
Not for a minute, because
I think you're bullshit.
Listen, I'm not. I mean, because here's the thing. Like when you looked at that trade last year, right? And I get everybody's loving attachment to Joey Loperfido. But at the end of the day, outside of maybe I don't even remember the pitcher we gave up for him, the young pitcher. But at the end of the day, those for Kikuchi in the Kikuchi deal. Because we gave up Wagner, we gave up Loperfido, and man, I can't remember the pitcher. The pitcher was the best prospect. None of these guys are just guys in the that are prospects in our system. They might have hit the top 30. Bloss. Thank you, John. John, and that's why you're my number one fan. Because John,
he also has a he also has a UCL now, so he's gone. Bloss is.
Yeah, so but that's what I'm saying. So like those guys outside of that, Jake Bloss was your best prospect. He was your number 9 prospect in a minor league system that was ranked 28th.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't even a major league top 100 prospect. So essentially you got a rental in Kikuchi for, I mean, I don't want to say it and it's going to hurt some people's feelings, but at the end of the day, they're a bunch of guys. Meaning like if we made a package for Dylan Cease, let's say it was McCormick, Shea Whitcomb, and I don't know, Uola, right? At the end of the day, none of these guys, right? And as much as I'm very high, well, yeah, none of them are. But what I'm saying is none of these guys are like top rated prospects. I mean, Uola's up and coming, right? So, it's not like this is the guy that, man, this could have been a franchise, pillar for this team, for 6-7 years down the road. Right. I mean, Uola, you hope he continues to build on what he's doing. Same thing with Blue Boss. Same thing with Ethan Pekka. All these guys, you're hoping build upon what they're doing. and they can reach reach outside of what they've been graded as prospects, right? So that's why at the end of the day, when that trade went down, I was like, all day, every day, we needed a pitcher, we got a pitcher, and look what they did with him. Again, going back to what I said, Cease is like 6 tiers higher than or maybe not 6 tiers. Cease, when he's on, he's easily tier 1, if not super high tier 2 type of pitcher. And that's a guy that if the Astros can fix him, which they've proven they can fix before, this is a guy that could be easily number 2 in anybody else's rotation. And he would be our number 3 because of how good Fromber and how good Hunter Brown's pitching. So as long as it's not like we got to give up Jacob Melton and Bryce Matthews to get him, I'm okay with if it is AJ Bluebaugh and let's say a couple, Chas McCormick. I mean, I'm good with that all day, every day. You make that trade. Riles looked like he had something to add.
For the package that they want for Dylan Cease for literally just a couple of months is, in my opinion, not worth it. And just like you said, he's a fixer-upper. If we had him for 2-3 years, great. And then you fix him and he's anchoring part of that rotation. But that's just not what's going to happen. And that's why I don't like it. And my counter to that is for less prospects, and also that I think would be a better fit is go get Charlie Morton. I mean, why not?
Okay, I like that.
I'm about that one.
The Orioles are selling absolutely everything. So put together a package. Go get me O'Hearn. Go get me Mullins. Go get me, and then throw one of those guys, and then throw in Charlie Morton with it, and call it a day. And then you solve 2 problems. Because we're talking about rentals here. So, when it comes to rentals, I'm more on going to not necessarily the bargain basement, but go get somebody like a Charlie Morton and then just call it a day.
But I mean, so Morton started out pretty shitty like this season. He's turned around his last 5 starts. Morton's been pitching. Phenomenal.
Yeah,
going back, he's been way better.
In a way, you kind of are, because if you compare Dylan Cease to what he could be, right, to Charlie Morton, which you're hoping he can capitalize on. I mean, you're looking at a 41-year-old pitcher versus how old is he? He's 28, 29. You pull up his stat. He's 29. Now, granted, you're not re-signing him because he's a Boris client. So, but what I'm saying is, in a way, and I'm all with you. I'm with you 100%. I think Morton is probably going to be one of the most under the table, sneaky good pickups for what the Astros can pick up and not cost you an arm and a leg. But again, so I mean, you have other guys that the Astros been linked to. You have Jesus Sanchez, outfielder from the Miami Marlins. Of course, you have Cedric Mullins, Ryan O'Hearn. I think I read that the Astros are officially out on Suarez, which is good because I know Arizona wants a king's ransom for him. It's just like I think to counter your counter with if Cease had 3 more years. I mean, but now you're paying out the ass prospect wise to get Dylan Cease because of the team control. So it's kind of like in a perfect world. I mean, like you're paying with prospects for those extra team control, which is why like Stephen Kwan is going to be super expensive, which is why like Sandy Alcantara. I get it. I agree with you 100%. Now, if we can do something like, I mean, the thing is that we have pitching to trade from. That's probably the one position that we're the deepest at. And I feel like if the prospects work out, and let's say what's stopping this trade for, like, let's say Quan is Spencer Arrighetti. Would you be? I mean, I would be willing to include Spencer Arrighetti in the trade if it's not going to cost, even if it costs you Melton. Spencer Arrighetti, Melton, and say two lesser guys. I'd be willing to make that trade for a guy like Stephen Kwan.
Yeah.
So I would assume that the guys in the front office for the Astros obviously know this. I mean, I would assume that, you have younger tiered pitching. Like I said, we talked about it, PK and I. As much as this hurts my heart, I mean, Colton Gordon is a guy that's made himself a little bit more valuable. He's got the MLB experience. He doesn't look overmanned. Or he doesn't look overmatched. You've got AJ Bluebaugh down there in AAA who, is dealing in AAA. He's made 1 start up here. I mean, so you have a strength of pitching that you could trade from to get, bats. I mean, because like you got to think Castro, he'll be a free agent at the end of the season. Cease will be the free agent at the end of the season. Mullins will be a free agent at the end of the season. O'Hearn will be a free agent at the end of the season. The only guy I'm not 100% sure on is Jesus Sanchez. So, and I would say Stowers as much as I like him, but he's got to have multiple teams coming after him as well.
Yeah.
So outside of you go make this massive splash, all these guys that we're talking about, they're all rentals. Charlie Morton is a rental. I mean, so we're gonna have. I
It'll
mean, I
cost
don't
you
know
less.
if it's just. Oh yeah, it's gonna definitely cost you less, but I think for us to, I don't know if we're just in that purgatory where we're living the rental life, and like I said, waiting for the money from Abreu to come off the books at the end of the season, and then maybe you go sign yourself one of these outfielders for a 3-4 year deal. I mean, so kind of where I'm at is, PK and I kind of talked about this on Sunday, but what is your prediction for what's going to go down tomorrow? And obviously, outside of the Astros don't make a trade for nobody because we have guys coming back. Those are our accusations. What players could they bring in that would make you think like, man, I get it, they made moves, but I'm not feeling it. And Browns, will start with you.
Man, that is really hard because their wish list was a left-handed bat. Their wish list was a third baseman or second baseman, or somebody that could play both, like a Willie Castro, or and obviously outfielders. And if they can mix anything in there, they definitely would. I mean, they were even saying relief pitchers, multiple starting pitchers. So it's kind of hard to say. I think the whole thing with Correa had legs earlier. I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, I'm torn. I wouldn't be mad if it happened. I wouldn't be mad if it didn't happen. Either way. But I do think that they need to start kicking the tires on some of these guys. I'm glad they're out of the Suarez contest because I think that was going to cost way too much for a rental. And PK and I are on the same page on this one. It's like, listen,
yeah,
I don't want to give up the whole farm, just to get some dude for like 3 months. If you've got him that's, we've got at least another year past it, fine. But at the same time, I also don't want them, having like emergency trades where they're like, oh my God, the Yankees got this guy, the Tigers got this guy, the Mariners just picked up 3 guys. What are we going to do now? And then they go try to make some kind of, crazy signing that they end up overpaying for.
Overpay for that, yeah.
So let me ask you a question real quick, Browse.
Don't know, to be honest with you.
Willie Castro is one of my answers, by the way.
Well, let me ask you a question. So, this is for both y'all, since you just brought up Castro. So, if the Astros, if Correa's out of the question for you, and I'm not saying it is, I don't want to put words in your mouth. And let's just say, because I think the Mariners are interested in Castro as well. Let's say that obviously the Mariners have a better farm system. So, if not Correa and not Castro, then who? Who's next on your wish list? You need a third baseman. You can't keep trotting out,
Dubon over a third. Yeah,
Dubon
well, I mean,
you're third, man.
Dubon. I'm not saying he can't, but I think Dubon should stay as that super utility guy. And this is coming from the Dubon fan club president. So,
and here's the other thing I'll say about Dubon is he's a better defender at third base than Suarez is. Suarez is like a -7 DRS. So I'm actually okay with being out of that one. Don't get me wrong. He's got a good bat, but the only thing he's doing is replacing basically Alvarez at DH, or he's at third base. And then whoever's playing left field, God forbid Altuve, better be ready to back him up every single time. So anyway,
so
let's put that one
back
to
my question. Okay. So back to my question. Brian Haynes was already traded. So
correct.
There's the third baseman off the trade block. So if not Correa and not Castro, who's your next guy? You really fall down the tier. What's IKF?
Well, the word around the campfire is that we're completely out of any talks right now with the Cardinals. So that rules out Brendan Donovan, and that also rules out Brendan Donovan, and that also rules out Arenado, who, obviously he already
okay with Arenado.
So it's after that. I mean, we're trying to poach somebody from, I don't even know at this point.
Well, Donovan, you'd have some control, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but they won't do any deals with the Cardinals right now. I don't know what happened, but I saw that from 2 different sources today saying the Astros and the Cardinals are not in talks on anybody and will not be
Yeah.
making any
All right,
trades
cool.
together.
Man, F
Well,
them
that's good
Cardinals,
because
dude.
I didn't want to
can't
give up a
stand them
king's
anyway.
ransom for Arenado.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
Brandon
feel
Lau.
like your options.
All you have left is Brandon
yeah,
Lau.
Brandon
Yeah,
Lau. Well, he's
I
a
mean
second
that's
baseman.
literally, but he's still
That's
That's
injured.
what I'm getting at. He's a second baseman.
Yeah, I mean, so
There's
And
I don't
injured.
want to say I don't want to say you have to go after Correa or Castro, which means you have to overpay. But I mean, you saw last year how you, in many minds of many Astros fans, you overpaid for Kikuchi, right? So for us to get, and I'm not even talking about Correa, I'm talking about Willie Castro. I mean, for you to get him, you're going to have to overpay what, let's say, Seattle's willing to give.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever reason, if you're out on those two guys, there is really no one left outside of a bunch of journeyman infielders. And at that
DJ
point, I
LeMahieu,
mean,
go pick him up from Dick's Sporting Goods.
I mean, you
You
didn't even
could.
pick him up when he was DFA'd.
That's what I'm
you
saying. You
could,
could,
yeah.
but nobody else is. It's like
Yeah, I mean-
he works there with Kevin.
I was going to say, Kevin got DFA too. You can go get him. But at the end of the day, that's not going to help your cause. I mean, he might sell some tickets because his last name is Biggio, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I think if you're going to make a move, it's those two players. It's the Correa Castro. If you're trying to fill a third base slot for the next 2 months. So
I'm
earlier, Chris,
literally going through every third baseman in my head from every single division at the same time, and I'm literally coming up with nothing.
And anybody who's worth a damn isn't going anywhere.
Right.
So your options are Correa and Castro.
Mm-hmm.
Or unless you could find a second baseman. And again, that's not really going to help you unless he's a guy that can play third base as well. I mean, so it's kind of a tough pickle. I mean, like, I'm not saying that you have to sell out for Correa, but what I'm saying is that like for you to be a legit threat in the playoffs, you can't be platooning Dubon and insert AAA guy here at third base. That ain't gonna cut it.
No.
So, what if somehow the Astros made a swing for the two guys we have on our background, Dylan Cease and Carlos Correa? Would that be a? Would you give that the Browns 2 thumbs up?
I would give that 1 thumb up. And the reason I say that is because you would have absolutely zero in the farm system after that.
Okay. What about something like, what if you got Correa and let's say you got Jesus Sanchez?
I'm good with that. I am definitely good with that because I don't think Jesus Sanchez is going to cost you nearly as much. I think Dylan Cease right now he's too hot of a name out there, and they keep saying like, "Oh my God, he's going to cost you a catcher and a left fielder, and it's going to cost you prospects." And I'm like, "It's just for a couple of months. Get off, dude." It's like,
I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Go get.
But
Charlie
they can though because he's a hot topic, so they can, right? I mean,
they can. I mean, but here's the thing though:
demand.
did anybody project the package that the Mets sent the Giants for that reliever?
God, dude,
hell no, no. Nobody projected them to give up all of that.
They gave up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is that they are deep. But what I'm saying is that I don't think anybody
give them all up.
Yeah, I mean, nobody said, "Hey, you know, I can see this trade made. Here's what it's going to cost." I guarantee you, every single Met fan would be like, "You're out of your mind. That trade ain't happening." So you don't know. I mean, like, and I do think that now teams are very cautious now than what we've seen in the last 2 off seasons with all these Boris clients. I mean, so they know that, like, obviously, I'm not going to give you an arm and a leg because at the end of the day, this guy is a Boris client.
You're walking anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to walk anyway. Why am I going to waste my time? So that I would assume they're not going to get this package that they think that they're going to get. I mean, you know, look at the package that Boston got for Devers, right? I mean, Devers is a almost damn near superstar, you know. I mean, the last guy that you saw get a ridiculous package was the Soto trade with the Nationals.
Right.
So I think a lot of that, I mean, of course, I mean, anytime you're trading, and whether this is MLB, NFL, fantasy, you're always gonna, sell yourself out for the top package. And the first offer that you make somebody is always going to be a ridiculous offer. And then eventually you're going to come back down to earth and you're going to settle on something, kind of in the middle. So PK, what would be a deadline? What would be your I give the Astros an A+ for the deadline, in your opinion?
I don't know, man, because I would like we talked about Cedric Mullins before. He's having a down year. It's another rental. The problem is that there's not a lot of guys out there for me. We talk about this all the time. Like, I'm not a fan of rentals. I'm not a fan at all. It really annoys me that you give up all the prospects, for this guy to hopefully re-sign with you, but ends up walking. So I think the Correa thing does feel the need for now. So I would, if Correa were to come, and what we have to give up, and what the contract ends up being that Minnesota eats, I would give that an A+. Like, solely not from the nostalgia of having Correa back, but you feel a need. And Chris, you hit on it earlier. Even though you don't like to admit that you don't like to use postseason stats, because if we recall last year or the first year when we did a podcast, I talked about Kyle Tucker and Bregman, and you gave me shit about postseason stats. However, you just used them. So
yeah,
but in this case, like, I think if Correa were to get traded, and it's for that, like, you feel the need at third base, he's got a glove, we know that, and then what you're going to get in the postseason. We play for banners around here, right? So that would be A+ for me. The Dylan Cease thing, I think you're gonna. I'm okay with not going for Dylan Cease. I feel like Dylan Cease is more of a risk for him to come over and hope that he turns it around. I mean, he's given up. I saw something on X before we went on where, he's given up. He only gave up 18 home runs last year. He's given up 17 this year so far, and that's because his command has been off. He's had, and he's pitching at Petco, and that's a pitcher-friendly park, and he's given up, a lot of bombs. So, what we have down the left field line, we got a porch there, right? So I think Cease coming is too big of a risk in hopes of that he can turn it around. But I think the Correa thing fills the need, and we get what we need for the postseason. So A+ for me would be a Correa deal.
I like it. What about you, Browns?
The more and more I think about it, I say nix the whole Cease thing. I think that's for a rental. It's way too much to ask, and go that second tier that nobody's thinking about with the Charlie Morton. And don't get me wrong, there are other people thinking about it.
I like the Charlie Morton thing, dude.
I for a rental, I think he's perfect. It's like he can ride off into the sunset and hopefully get another World Series ring, right? So, and then we don't have to give up that much. I do like the Correa thing, especially for this year. Also saying the World Series ring, because that's exactly what Correa brings to you right now. Is he brings the Bulldog, he brings everything that you've seen in the past with the playoffs. All that to the point where you can actually win a championship with this guy. So I'm, beyond my armchair GM like thinking or whatever. Just go ahead and bring him right now, and let's go ahead and get this thing done. And then we'll figure it out in 2026 on where we're actually going to put him or what he's going to do, or even if he's going to be healthy at that point. Who cares? So give me a starting pitcher in Charlie Morton, give me Correa, and then let's go win this thing this year, and then we'll figure it out after that.
So Correa would play third, Paredes would play second, and then you put Altuve in left. That's the answer.
Yes,
that's
I
I
like it. So I think we're all in agreement that our prediction is going to be the headline of the 2025 trade deadline is we're running it back. The Astros reunion of Charlie Morton and Carlos Correa. I like it. I mean, like I said a couple nights ago, I think Charlie Morton is probably one of the most underrated, that could be most high potential trades that you can pull off. He has started off slow, but he's came back. I mean, I would be all for Cease. I mean, like I said, his numbers kind of look like Kikuchi's did last year, and then the Astros found a way to fix him. As long as they don't give up, Matthews or Jacob Melton, If we can bring him on, I'm even better. I think my prediction is going to be, I think we get the Correa thing done. It just makes too much sense. The Astros do have a lot of the leverage in this situation. Minnesota is going to be looking to make that contract. I know the big question is going to be if he can stay healthy. But you again, too, you could work him days off with Dubon. That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't have to be Correa. We don't need him to play every single game. So I like the Astros reunion for 2025. Bring in Charlie Morton, bring in Carlos Correa. I like it. I mean, I'm even good with the combo of Morton and Castro. I mean, so we'll just have to kind of see as it plays out. I'm sure by this time tomorrow night, I'll have to rest my hand somewhere from checking Twitter all day. But I like it, guys.
Yeah, look, before we get out of here, look, Morton's last 5, he's 4-1. He's 4-1. He pitched 5 1/3 on 6 innings, 6 2/3, 6 innings. I mean, his loss was, it was an ugly loss, but still, he's 4-1 in his last 5 starts. He hasn't given, in those 4 wins, he hasn't given up more than 3 runs. Right? So I'm telling you, if y'all go back and look at this guy's stats at the beginning of the season, he was ass.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was not good.
Ass. So he's turned it on right around the time where you get these conversations where it's like, hey, man, we can make a little move, inexpensive, and Chris run it back, right? So, but look, man, I don't thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We went a little bit long, but that's okay. This is a special trade deadline episode. We're going to be back tomorrow night, normal time, 7:30. We'll catch you up on all the trades that went down. Hopefully, we're talking about a number of re-sign or re-signing, re-bringing back, however you want to say, to Correa. We'll see if they do Morton. But until then, you're listening to the Juicebox Heroes podcast. I'm PK. That's Chris. That's Bryles. And we'll talk to y'all tomorrow night, 7:30.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button, man. Help us out. All right.